guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It feels so surreal to say that. But yeah, today I'm discussing my C-section. It's one of the most frequently asked things since having a C-section. I have put my highlight reel back on my Instagram page, but I thought I'd answer some of your questions. And yeah, let's take it from there. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, for those who don't know me, my name is Tatiana Karanja, aka Mama Olive, and I have 3 kids. My last born was born by a C-section. I have 2 older kids, Olive and Marley. Olive is 6, Marley is 4, and Nova is now 11 months, going up to a year. So it's almost been a year of my C-section. And the reason I had to have a C-section was because I had placenta previa. Sorry, if you hear the kids in the background, it's a public holiday today. So yeah, I had to have a C-section. It didn't move, and so at the end of the day, I had to have a C-section. The reason I was really worried about it was because I had just started getting back into my fitness, and I think just before I got pregnant with Nova, I was the fittest I've ever been. And it was CrossFit and then a lot of other things in my life that I really loved. And I think it was one of the things that brought me back to being me. It's something I loved and love doing. And it's a really big part of my life. So the reason I was really nervous about getting a C-section was because I had this notion that I wouldn't be able to get back to doing what I was doing, or at least within a time frame that I wanted to get back to it. Not only that, I am a photographer and a content creator, and I don't have a steady source of income. So I've never had maternity leave with any of my babies, though both Olive and Marley, vaginal birth, super straightforward. And I was able to work within 2 weeks with both of them. So in my head, I thought this would take me a lot longer to heal, and I was genuinely really scared. I had no savings, single mama of 3, 2 older kids who were in school, a new place that I was renting. There was actually a lot more bills that were coming in last year that I didn't have previously because I was staying with my dad or staying with my mom. So I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to provide for my kids in the same way, or I would go off track, or I wouldn't be able to work. A lot was going through my head, and then also, not to mention, like, I was on a call with a physio and they're like, oh my gosh, you're having a C-section? Oh, your back is never gonna heal. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, all of this kind of information. So that's why I was really, really scared about it. Anyway, fast forward. I was having a C-section, and so I got on board and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And with all pregnancies, actually, I never worried until the day that it came, because there's just no point in worrying, you know? I learned that with pregnancy number 1. So it got to the time, it was 25th of May when I was scheduled to have a C-section. I did it at AAR Hospital, which I absolutely loved. So how that all came about. Oh really? Now the dog's about to stop barking. When I got the diagnosis that I might have to have a C-section, now I started scouting for hospitals because I needed to have a planned C-section. So I went to AAR and saw the facilities, loved it. Clean, state-of-the-art facilities, state-of-the-art equipment to what I can see. I mean, I'm not a doctor. The rooms that the rooms that I was supposed to be staying in, it looked gorgeous, it looked clean, it looked hygienic, it just looked mwah. And then on top of that, they had a package. Now, I can't really remember what package deal it was, but my package included the operation, the room, the medication, fantastic price if I compared it to other places, plus what the facilities, and I was sold. And then I met my doctor, Dr. Mashiri, and I will tag I will tag him below, so you need to check him out. I met him for the first time, and when I tell you meet somebody, you're like, fantastic. Like I'm in your hands. That's how I felt with him. He was amazing, explained everything to me to a T, layman's terms, was very encouraging. Also very ready to listen to what I had to say, my fears, and he was like, tell me everything. Let me know everything. I'm gonna answer all your questions right now. And from that point, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold on this hospital. I'm sold on this doctor. C-section, no problem. So that's how that happened. They were a vaginal birth. And so one thing I learned during this experience was one day I wrote something about having a natural birth, and then I learned from somebody that it's all a natural birth, that what you're supposed to call it is a vaginal birth or a C-section birth. I didn't know that, and I can understand the thinking behind it, where people think that C-sections are, you know, to be looked down on. I've seen a woman actually put down somebody else for having a C-section, and she had all hers natural vaginal birth. And I just think it's so wrong. They are both incredibly difficult, and can I just say, the difficult part of having a baby is not the C-section or the vaginal birth. The difficult part is actually taking care of your kids. But now, since we're here, let me get through some of your questions. And if there's anything else you'd like to know, drop them in the comments below. I also will be having a sit down with Dr. Mashiri. So if you want any more technical or professional or like medical answers, please drop them in the comments below or email me, and I will get those answered as well. So this is just a bit of my experience and to answer your questions. How long did you take to heal, and were you given the recommended care during that time? All right, so I was in hospital for, if I remember correctly, 4 days. And what I was told is walk as soon as possible. And I even remember as soon as I woke up, like an hour after or something, I started walking. And obviously I was heavily medicated, so I don't think I obviously wouldn't have been able to do that without the medication, but I started walking as soon as possible, and by day 4 I'm leaving, I was walking with baby, the kids had come to see baby, I was playing around with the kids, so by the time I was leaving, I was already feeling a lot better. Again, I was still on medication, but I wasn't on morphine anymore. Once I was home, I was just doing what I was told, taking my medication, even though I wasn't waiting till I was in pain. I was taking it every few hours, and I was absolutely fine. I remember within a week of being home, I was doing the kids' hair, I was driving them to school. One thing that I really, really wanted to make sure was that the kids didn't feel the baby was more special than them. And this is something I really worked hard on with Olive and Marley. I remember with Marley, when Marley came, I made sure that Olive wouldn't feel like Marley had taken her place. And I think that was really helpful in their relationship and our relationship at home as well. She wasn't bullying, anything like that. You know, it was just a really great relationship that we all had together. And this is something that I really wanted to make sure with Nova as well. So I made sure that I was very much present in their lives, even though, you know, I was still healing and whatnot. Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know that I love them all the same, and I'm going to be here for them no matter what. And also because it was just, again, it's just me. So they didn't have like, you know, they couldn't go to they didn't go to their dad to, you know, give them attention. It was just me. So I really made it a point to just be there for everybody. For how many days after your C-section did you find that you were in extreme pain, if any? I didn't really find that I was in extreme pain at all, actually. The one time that I found that I was in extreme pain actually after my C-section was in hospital before I left. My mom and I had a laughing fit. You know, one of those fits where you literally can't breathe, you're crying, you're like, stop laughing, I can't breathe, like that kind of fit. And the reason it was so painful is because it's on my, like, putting pressure on my C-section. And I was in so much pain, but I couldn't stop laughing. It was one of the worst and best moments of my life at the same time. I don't know what my mom and I were bonding over, and we started laughing hysterically, and yeah, I was just in excruciating pain. Even the nurse came in because I was like, I can't stop, I'm in so much pain, and she gave me a pillow to put on my tummy. It didn't work. That was the most painful thing after having a C-section. But from there, I don't really think I experienced anything painful. Was it an elective CS? Yes, it was. I had to do it. What's better, CS or VG birth, vaginal birth? Oh, you know what? I'd rather just not do either. I'd rather just not do either because it's so freaking big. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to hire a surrogate mom for next time, if there ever will be a next time, because I can't. But to be honest, with the vaginal birth, both of my older kids were induced. So they were quite quick, which I hear is quite painful. I've never experienced like a birth where it's like, oh, contractions are coming and, you know, I can go and buy a milkshake and then head to the hospital. You know, I've never experienced that. They were painful AF. I remember breaking a chain with Marley's, when I was in hospital giving birth to Marley. I just would rather not do any. It's terrible. they're both terrible. With vaginal birth, the contractions were so painful. The worst experience of my entire life. I don't know, even thinking back about it, I can't do that again. A CS, with that, at least I got put to sleep because I was too scared to go to sleep. I'll explain that later. I got put to sleep and then I woke up and had to heal. But during that healing process, I was on quite a bit of medication, at least for the beginning part, which I assume would be the most excruciating thing if I didn't have that medication. So in terms of pain, I feel as though I went through more pain with my contractions. Again, I was induced, which I hear is more painful. But both, you know what, I can't decide. Both, I just wouldn't do either. It's now to make billions of dollars so that I can hire surrogates.
I forgot about this part where I talk about having a CS and going home to kids.
Started working out 3 weeks after my surgery, and I wasn't working out like doing major things. I wasn't lifting weights and things like that, but I was seeing Sarah, a pelvic floor specialist, and we worked on posture, breathing, mobility, and a few exercises. So yeah, that was 3 weeks after having a CS. Yeah. And then after seeing her for some time, and she had given me some home workouts and some exercises to be doing every day, and then there was a point that I was cleared for CrossFit. Exactly 8 weeks postpartum, after seeing Sarah for those 6 weeks, and then also going to my doctor, Dr. Mashiri, to have a checkup and make sure I was ready. 8 weeks postpartum, I was cleared to do CrossFit again. Did you get the C-section shelf postpartum? If so, which core exercises to help? Thanks. I've actually got a few of those. How did you get flat tummy back? All this kind of stuff. Yes, I did have that shelf. I believe I know what you're talking about. Like, it's like you have the scar, and just a little bit over the scar, you have like your tummy is hanging over the scar a bit. So yes, I did have that.
The post-CS bod. I told you guys I'm going to be very transparent with my journey, and this is what it looks like. It's a lot darker around my stomach, though you can't really see it right now in this lighting. I have a lot of stretch marks, and also my skin is like really loose and flabby, which is a really new experience. I didn't have that with my other pregnancies. But yeah, here we are.
Yes, I did get that shelf, but can we just talk? I'm not a trainer. We cannot spot reduce. Go and work out, eat well, do something that you love. Go walking, go running, go swimming, go CrossFit, and eat well. And I literally just started moving very quickly. My kids are very active. I started living my life that I was living before very quickly. One thing I'd like to say is I think our bodies are able and capable of doing a lot more than we think we're able to do after having a C-section. I'll just leave it at that. How soon did you start going out of the house and doing errands? Literally, I think it was a day or two after I got home. Went to the supermarket, had to drop the kids at school. I remember I came home on that weekend, and Monday the kids had school, and I dropped them. Yeah. Did you wash the scar with water afterwards? First, it was covered, so I couldn't get it wet. But then after a very short while, I was able to do that. Yeah. Is it true that you never really heal the scar? I.e., I hear you'll feel pain from time to time, especially when it's cold. You know what's interesting? I feel it itchy and I can't scratch. It's an incredibly weird sensation. I don't know how to explain it. There are times where I feel like it itches, but it's not somewhere that you can touch and scratch and and reach that itch, which is it's so frustrating. And yeah, I still feel like it's sensitive. It doesn't hurt, but I do feel like there's some sensitivity. But then also it's different layers that are sensitive. So like the complete top of it is numb, but I can feel underneath. It's incredibly weird. So I'm not in pain, but there are different sensations that I feel, that I still feel to date. The worst one being that itch that I can't scratch. Is it true that it's worse than vaginal birth now that you've done both? I would say they're both equal. Can I tell you one part though, actually? So firstly, I didn't stay awake because I was too scared of the injection. So I was going to stay awake because I really wanted skin to skin. Oh, in fact, I should have said this earlier. I really wanted skin to skin contact with Nova, and I wanted to be the first one to see her, hold her, touch her, all of that, apart from the doctors, obviously. And so I'm being wheeled in, and I just could not. I was having panic attacks because I had to get that injection in the back. I mean, what is it? They have the one to numb you and like they cut you open, and I am terrified of needles. So I couldn't do it. I was having panic attack after panic attack after panic attack, and myself and the nurses agreed that it's just better I be put to sleep. Little did I know that injection, when I was given that injection to be put to sleep, it is the most painful thing I have ever gone through in my life. So I lie. I would rather do vaginal. That, you know what? That, he gave it to me in my arm. It felt like my arm was falling off. It felt like somebody had cut my arm into little pieces. I don't know what was happening. That medication to put me to sleep is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. So yeah, vaginal. Bring on vaginal. Wow, I've just remembered. It was terrible. And apparently that's what Michael Jackson took to overdose. I don't know if that's the story I should be telling. I don't know how he was injecting that into himself, because truly I would rather jump into an oven and lock myself in there than go through that again. There's a lot of questions, about working out and going back to the gym. Again, I am not a healthcare specialist. I'm not a doctor. And I cannot tell you what you should be doing with your body, because every case is different. I highly advise you work closely with your gynecologist or your doctor and a pelvic floor specialist if you can, to make sure that what you're doing, you're getting back into the gym or whatever it is that you want to do healthily. Your body is ready for it. There are also lots of coaches that train ladies who have just given birth, even pregnant ladies, and I advise seeing somebody who really knows what they're doing, because that also makes a lot of difference. There are a lot of things that you can't do when you just get back, you know, and so you need to have a trainer that knows what they're doing so that you don't get injured. I'll put some below as well for you. You know what? Down below, I'll put my doctor, where I gave birth, pelvic floor specialist, gynecologist, some trainers that I think are fantastic, and nutritionist as well, just in case you're looking to look at what you eat. Also, a lactation specialist, a sleep trainer. You know what? I'll put some details below for those mamas who are going through it. How is your back after CS? I'm an athlete like you and I hope I can resume workout, but my back. Personally, I'm not having any issues right now, and I think that's because I really took the time to work with people who knew what they were doing with me, and so even getting back into fitness, I've taken it easy, taken it slow, avoided exercises that were bad, strengthened my core, and it's been a good journey. And yeah, I'm back, and my back isn't really giving me an issue. I have been given the go-ahead to start working out, but the scar feels sensitive to touch. I remember being there, and I remember not doing a few things because I was scared of my C-section, and that even happened afterwards when the pain had gone. So Mama, I feel you, but I would just like to encourage you, you know, just try. I know it's scary, just try, and you'll be surprised at what your body can do. And if it does start to hurt, stop. What really helped with your general CS recovery? Again, walking. I was told by my doctor explicitly, walk as soon as possible, and I really think that helped heal me, because I'm even looking through, I think I'll share this link with you, my stories on Instagram, where I shared a bit of my CS journey. I'm going through it, and literally I was walking in no time, and I kept moving, and I think that's how my body allowed itself to heal. And I have heard that being bedridden too much is also not good for your body. It doesn't let your body heal. So yeah, I know it hurts and I know it's difficult, but try as much as possible to get as much movement as you can. That's just my 2 cents. Obviously, do this hand in hand with your doctor and whoever else is taking care of you. So yeah, those are the questions you asked. It's been an incredible journey. We are now 11 months, almost a year. Next month on the 25th, it will be a year. Actually, it's this month. This month on the 25th, she's turning 1. It's incredibly hard to even imagine that this happened just such a short time ago. I was so scared, but I'm so grateful for this journey. It's been an incredible almost year of Nova and the family. This year has been a bit more difficult because she's been awake a lot more. So she's a lot more active, a lot more vocal. She wants things, and whereas last year when she was born and then the next few months, she was asleep a lot of the time. So I really was able to give my babies that attention that they needed. So yeah, it's gotten a bit more difficult this year as she becomes her own person. But I'm absolutely loving being a mama to my 3, and it's just, yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to be where I am with them and have them in my life. So yeah, I hope that answers all your questions. If you do have any more questions about anything medical related, I will be speaking with Dr. Mashiri. And if you have any other questions that I didn't answer, please drop them in the comments below or email me. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. What else? And all of that, yeah. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Actually, this is going to go out tomorrow, so happy Tuesday, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
Yeah.